So students, we are now on to the last topic in line, that is types of plan. And this topic is really important because almost every year this topic has come as to define or maybe to identify the types of plan as in the case study. So let us understand it with another short form, an acronym. So the concept of types of plan in the book is quite vast, with around 3 to 4 pages being devoted to this topic, and therefore students, you must read the lines of NCERT very carefully for this topic. So here you can easily remember the types of plan as Mr., Boss with a single S, and PPP. So this is the acronym where you can get the 7 types of plan as 8 types of plan as given in your book with the acronym Mr. Boss PPP. Now let us see how it goes. With M you have got method, R represents the rules as a plan, then B as budget, with O you have got the objectives, S denotes strategy, and when we say students P, P and P, they are nothing but policy, procedure and program. So now students, there might be some questions which ask you to identify them as single use or standing plans, but you need not be afraid of. You just remember these 8 letters Mr. Boss PPP, where M and R, when we say M and R, method and rules, they are standing plans because they can be used for a longer period of time. Similarly, we can say that procedure and policies, they are also the part of standing plans. They are standing. Rest 2 we can say budget and program. These are single use plans. These are single use because budget is for a particular task and it usually expires after the completion of task. Similarly, a program, or we can call it a project, for one purpose. Once the accomplishment of task is done, then it fails to work in the other situations. So budget and program are the single use plans, and in your book objectives and strategies have been classified as general plans. General plans means there is a third category which can be shifted to any one of the 2 categories. Sometimes they can be single use, the other times they might be standing plans. So this is the classification you should remember students. Mr. Boss PPP for 8 sorts of plan, and M and R being standing plans. Similarly here double P, P and P, they are also standing plans. One program and one budget are single use, and objectives and strategies have been put under general types of plan that can be shifted to any of the 2 categories. So now from NCERT we are going to see that how the explanations we are supposed to give for the different types of plan. And in types of plan, first of all, the book is clearly talking about the single use and standing plans. Single use means just for one use, as the name suggests. So here that one time event may expire in a week, in a span of a month, or maybe on very single day. So generally these are not repeated in future, and they are non-recurring situations, used in non-recurring situations which do not get repeated. So here students, the book says clearly that budgets, programs and projects, they have talked about 3 types: budgets, programs and projects as single use plans. There is more or less equality between programs and projects. The last line clearly says that projects are similar to programs, but they may differ in terms of scope and complexity. So don't get confused, they are quite similar. Budgets and programs, you can remember B and P as single use plans. Now talking about standing plans, They are the ones which occur regularly over a period of time, and it is usually developed once but is modified from time to time as per the need, as per the requirement, as per the conditions of the situation. We can change them as per the feasibility. So, standing plans are PPMR, as I told you. The policies, procedures, methods and rules are all included in standing plans, and they are general set of instructions that we would see later in the topic. And then students, this paragraph on page number 102 of NCERT, the last paragraph under types of plan, they have clearly mentioned that there are a few other plans which are neither can be classified as single use nor they can be standing plans. So, and under these plans they have talked about strategies, which are general plan prepared by the top management, and they have also talked about objectives which are formulated by the top management and guides the working of overall organization. So, strategy and objectives are classified here. They can also be put in the different two categories as per the need. Sometimes they may become single use, sometimes they may be classified as standing plans. So, one by one we will have a look from NCERT that what exactly you are supposed to mention whenever you explain these types of plans, and they are very important as they have been asked over the years in the previous 5 years. Students, objectives as a type of plan denoted with the letter O, you are supposed to write that it is helpful in particularly setting the very basic need of the organization to have a goal. It simply states that what organization likes to achieve. And mind you students, these objectives are usually set by the top management, and there are few characteristics of objectives that you must be mindful of, because while deciphering the case studies you are supposed to identify that whether the objectives is containing specific terms in it or not, whether it is expressive in measurable or quantifiable terms or not, whether it is a written statement of desired results to be achieved within a given period of time or not, that is time specific or not, and whether it is attainable or not, whether it is measurable or not, whether it is comfortable with everyone involved to achieve them or not. So, these are few basic characteristics of objectives which you need to check whenever you identify a particular case study, or in a particular case study you say that this type of plan is objective. Next is strategy, denoted with the letter S. Here strategy, students, provides broad contours of an organization's business. Definitely it is for the long run. It is a comprehensive plan. These are the key words without which you cannot afford to describe strategy as a type of plan. It is broad, longer time period and comprehensive plan. It includes 3 dimensions. This is talked about in NCERT. Number 1, it denotes the long-term objectives of the organization. It leads it to a particular course of action, and it allocates necessary resources to achieve those objectives. So, here 3 things have been talked about. One is regarding the time period, that is longer in duration, then courses of action, and for taking such actions the allocation of resources for achieving the objectives. And these strategies are formulated keeping in consideration the pestle, different dimensions of the organization's environment. Generally students, we also see these strategies as formation of some plans as per the actions of our competitors. So, whenever you see you establish a policy that is in response to the actions by the competitors or rivals, there also this strategy is used as a type of plan. Now, next in line is P for policy. So, here we can say the policy are general statements that channelize the thinking of an organization in a particular direction. So, these are the general statements or the general terms, they are stated in general terms. Some more things regarding policy. they guides the managerial action and helps the managers to implement a particular decision or strategy in the organization. So whenever the policies we talk about, we have to say that they are at all levels in every department, and policies always defined as broad parameters, general guidelines to help the manager function in a particular direction. So this is all about policy. Next in line is the procedure, again denoted with another P, and procedures are the routine steps on how the activities are to be carried out. Remind you students that procedures have to be in a chronological sequence, one after the other, step by step, following the specified steps. So this is the characteristic feature of this type of plan. Whenever you see the sequence of steps to enforce a particular policy in order to attain the objectives, we say that procedures have been followed as a type of plan. Another type being method. When we say method, again students, there is a particular way of doing the task, one step of a procedure, and it specifies exactly how the step is to be performed. So method is nothing but precise explanation of the step of the plan and how the tasks have to be completed in line. Then another type is R, standing for rules. Rules are specific statements. They are very specific that what should be done and what should be avoided. They do not allow for any kind of flexibility. Rule is a rule. Either it can be made or it can be broken. It can be followed or it can be totally compromised with. So these are the simplest type of plans because there is no compromise or no change in the rules that have been formulated by an organization. Next in line is another P with program. Now here students, program you can remember as a totality of all the types of plans that you have studied so far. These are detailed statements including objectives, policies, procedures, rules. All types of plans have been covered under one head as program. The minutest details are worked like in procedures, rules, budgets, and they are formed within the broader policy of the organization. The last plan is budget with the letter B, and it is a statement of expressed results in numerical terms. Very important students, always the budget is in quantifiable terms with some facts and figures, and they generally requires forecast to arrive at the figures. Budget represents all items in numbers that becomes easier to compare actual versus expected performance, and it is a fundamental part of planning. There are different kinds of budgets that are formed, like a few days back we have got the union budget, the railway budget. So all this involves some amount of cash inflows and outflows. So it is nothing but a statement that shows estimated inflows and outflows. This is also a line of definition given in NCERT. So whenever you get such words in the case study, you always mark it as budget. The net cash position, the cash budget, is inflows minus outflows. We can get either surplus, positive, or deficiency as negative value of cash flow. So all this leads to the formulation of budget as a type of plan. I hope the topic is very clear. So now let us have a quick look on a case-based question that has come from this topic in the past year's question papers. So the question says that what are the standing plans and single-use plans? First of all, we have to give the definition of two types of plans here. So here, without even reading the case, you can state that standing plans are the ones which are recurring in nature, which are used generally for a longer time duration and continues in the regular course of business of the organization. However, on the other hand, single-use plans are non-recurring in nature and they are generally for a short span of time, maybe ranging from a day to a week to a few months. Now, second question is briefly explain the plans discussed above which can be classified as standing plans. So, the standing plans which have been discussed above, by quoting the lines from the question you have to explain them. So, this is another question for which we need to visit the case. So, now let us read the case based question from the top. An auto company Win Limited is facing a problem of declining market share due to increased competition from other new and existing players in the market. So, this company Win Limited has got their market shares declined, reduced due to enhanced competition in the market. Its competitors are introducing lower priced models for mass consumers who are price sensitive. So, they are ultimately losing their price sensitive customers due to competitors' action of lowering the prices. The board of directors of the company announced a meeting to discuss the decisions regarding pricing and launching of new range of models. So, regarding this, there has been a meeting in order to increase the market share of the company. Now, attending the meeting was not a discretion for the directors, and a penalty was introduced for not attending the meeting. So, we can say, students, in these lines we can get that initially the case was talking about a type of competition and actions by the rivals. So, here we can somewhat relate strategy as the type of plan. Then in next one they are talking about pricing and launching of new varieties of products to particularly cater to the price sensitive consumers. So, it is also talking about the policies formulated under the type of plan. And the third thing they are talking about is attendance in the meeting, which is not a discretion, rather it is a compulsion, and penalty is imposed if they are not attending the meeting. So, it points none other than the specific plan called rule. Now, let us read what they have given in the points further. The first one says to define the desired future position of the company as acquiring a dominant position in the market by increasing the market share to 10% in 1 year. So, you see, students, from this type of statement we can infer that they are pointing towards objectives as the type of plan, because it is specified in numerical terms, precise statements. The second one, changing the criteria for choosing vendors for procuring the supplies. So, choice of vendors, it can come under policies of the enterprise. And the third point talks about invest in the development of human resource of the organization by providing trainings at various levels, by holding seminars and providing job trainings on the supervisory management. So, this for the first line managers, they are trying to provide some trainings through seminars. So, this is clear cut indication that the organization is working on the long time format by taking actions and allocating resources under the type of plan called strategy. So, all these things you need to talk in this question, students. So, if we choose the standing plans, definitely the first question which we discussed is of 2 marks that we have explained, standing plan and single use plan, 1+1, and the last part of the question is 4 marks to make it a 6 marker, where you are supposed to explain all these plans. Here rules, then policies, then strategies with regard to rivals, as well as the last line, allocation of resources for a longer duration, and objectives as well, because it is a long term objective of 1 year. So, for this particular year it can be treated as a standing plan that the organization has and looks forward to achieve in a span of 1 year. So, this is the case deciphered, that how from this particular set of instructions, a few lines, a few paragraphs, we can extract the types of plan being discussed in examination as well. I hope you have got a clear-cut understanding on the topic. Thank you.